Okay, so now that we have presented all of our wonderful speakers, let us begin this roundtable discussion, which is more of a conversation rather than discussion. So the first question that we've got is, life seems to be posing teachers and trainers quite some challenges these days. Some had to reinvent themselves, while others are having difficulties to resume their regular work. So, what do you think would be the greatest challenge still to be faced ahead? Swati, if you could please answer this question.
Yeah, thank you so much, James. So I think for this question, I'll start by saying this quote that we all know, that change is the only constant. And, the rate at which the change is happening right now in today's time is really high. So I would say that people need to be comfortable with that change. And thus I can say that the ability to, adapt to the increasing rate to change is the key here. And that is the challenge, because there are some people and some learners and trainers who can change with this environment easily, and for some it's really difficult. So I would say if we can change and we can cope up with the change, then it's going to be a little easy for us. Otherwise, it's a challenge that everyone is facing, be a trainer or a learner in today's world. And also, there are some of the challenges that we have seen in making some of the choices. And if I'm saying in making some of the choices today, it's like, organizations are baffled to choose the right technology for delivering the training today, because there are WebEx, there is Teams, there is Zoom. So every organization is just jumping on the, technology, but they have to make the choice that which one is the best for them. And last but not the least, I would say, is the content, the most challenging thing, because what we have been doing till now is working on the classroom trainings and some amount of online sessions. And in this situation where everything got pushed to online portals, I think we were not ready right now to start working on the online trainings. And then people are using the contents and the trainer are using content which was prepared for the classroom. So I would say content development is a challenge right now, that we have to increase the pace, because right now there's not going to be any of the classroom ahead. It's going to be the new normal, which is the online sessions. So I would say the content development for this, web-based training is again going to be a challenge and will be resolved in the coming times slowly. But right now it's going to be a challenge for all the trainers and the companies to work on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Swati. The second question we've got is, training or teaching people online is not quite like doing it face to face, what was Jessica mentioning just now. What skill do you think professionals should optimize or improve to excel at this? Swati, please.
So first of all, I would say thank you, Dominic and Jessica. These questions are so beautifully shared with us. And I would just like to add a little bit on what both of them said in collaboration. So I agree to it that, being technically literate is something going to help for sure, both the trainers and the learners. So in this case, the instructors and the trainers need to be more comfortable with the virtual classroom training. So be it any of the, software that we use, the trainers needs to understand that it's not only presenting, but it's now engaging, and then in a better way. So they should need to know the whiteboard, the interactions with learners, the quizzes, and how many different platforms are there for the feedbacks, which will actually engage the learner, and they are not just going to sit there and listen. Because, if we are not going to share anything with them, they are just not going to listen to any of the, trainers. So it's very simple, that learn new skills to engage the learners that we used to do in a classroom thing. But yes, that was a little easier, but now we need to be more, focused on how things needs to be done on the online platforms. And thus, I would say if a facilitator is more comfortable with the new technology, then the trainer can help to reduce the disasters that usually happen. So sometimes it happens that learners are not able to log in. They do not know where the chat box is. They do not know how to raise their hands. These are very minute things, but if our trainers, and if we trainers are literate that enough, we will be able to resolve things. So I have the experience of both being a trainer and the administrator, so I know how things work. But if a trainer is really literate on these aspects, a lot of time could be saved, a lot of education and knowledge would be shared, and this is going to be a positive experience for the learners, and not like they are not happy with the sessions at the end. And to add to it, I'll also say that we usually say that in classroom sessions we used to do a lot of gamifications, as Yousuf said earlier. But now in this, I would say it's an era now, an era of online learning. So now we would need to go for more multitasking. So as Dominic said, that presentation is important, and for sure it's really important. But now the focus has to be on presenting in such a way that there is more and more engagement in the online platforms. Pushing some of the puzzles, some of the quizzes, and some questions in between, adding some more videos and some more interactions that will help learners to engage, and that will help the trainer not only to present but to have a discussion with them. So I think that there is a need of more multitasking now in this platform, so that again engagement could be there and we could just gauge the attention of the learners for that sake. Last but not the least, as Jessica said in the last question, that human touch is missing, and that's for sure. It's really missing. So now I think the learners and so I will say the trainers has to be more into this environment, that they have to first ease the learners, because we need to understand this situation is new for everyone. It's not only for us, for them. So we first need to maintain and create that environment that online learning could be beneficial. Online learn, you can learn in this platform. There's nothing very different, but yes, a little difficult, but yes, we can cope up with that. So I think if a trainer is having that thought, and if they are able to convey their messages, it will be easy for the learners to absorb all that information and the knowledge. So because there are many of the learners who have never ever worked on computers. They do not have anything related in their field with computers, but they are coming online to learn new things. So I think now it becomes the duty and the responsibility of the trainer and the facilitators to help these learners learn new things, so that they are comfortable in this new online learning environment. So I think if these things are taken care of, we as an instructors and the trainers are going to do a great job in this field. Thank you.
Thank you, Swati. Thank you for that answer. I'm learning so much today. Wow. Thank you. Let's move on to the third question. So our third question for today is, what is, in your own opinion, the most common mistake professionals make when training or teaching that could be avoided in the new normal?
First of all, I should say Dominic and Yousuf, amazing pointers. I have in fact got off many of my pointers now, being on the third position. But let's see if I am able to share something, with you. As Dominic said that, when we saw this question about the new normal, then now the thing came into mind that what a trainer or a facilitator shouldn't be doing it, so that the mistakes could be reduced. So over here, my thought has gone towards not the technology end towards, or not to the presentation, but more towards the humanly side. And thus, I would say now is the time that we shouldn't assume things. So, when the facilitators and The trainers will not assume that their audience know this thing or their audience know this software. They'll be able to connect better. They'll be able to share, and they'll be able to make the comfortable environment. The facilitators shouldn't assume that it's a normal transition from classroom to online. It does need a lot of preps to be done, a lot of adjustments, as Yousuf said, in fact in the presentation size. So they need to shorten the time frame. They need to engage all the audience. So they shouldn't assume that people must be listening. So there has to be some engagement, more engagement. And one more thing, that they shouldn't assume that everyone knows the virtual classrooms, because as I said in my previous answer, that many of the people are there who do not even have any of the work on their computers. They are in their different job profiles, and now if they are transitioning towards online, then the trainer and as a facilitator, I shouldn't assume that they know everything. So I think removing this word and removing this thought that they know and assuming that they know everything is not a good idea now. And if we remove this thing, then there are a lot of mistakes that we can take care before it happens. And the second thing, I usually talk to many of the facilitators as well as learners of different age groups, and I got to know that there are students and the learners, for them it's very new. Yes, the age, the new era, the youths are online always, but they are not in that practice to learn something from online for their possibly next 6 months. So I think the thing is, let's not think only about us. So I understand that many of the trainers and the facilitators, they are saying that it's really difficult. Like we discussed that the person should be technically strong and they should learn the technology, and it's really difficult for the facilitators. Yes, I understand. But at the same time, just try to understand it's new for them also. So it's not only us, it's them also. So if we think about this thing, the adjustment is going to be really easy. It's not only that we are going to adjust, the learners will also adjust, and then they'll understand that it's like Yousuf said, it's in the collaboration. So I think if we give thought, as a trainer, if we think of these two things, then the transition from classroom to online is going to be a little easier. Not for sure very easy, but a little easier. And adding to it is, yes, the technology plays a major role, and a trainer and the facilitator needs to be good and on this hands-on technology end, so that they can help their learners in every possible manner whenever required. So yes, the same similar points again and again, but I think giving a little more human touch in this technology field is going to be much more beneficial. Thank you, Jis.
Today, we're all human. So, very, very powerful words. Thank you. This actually concludes all three questions that we prepared for this roundtable discussion.